friends, and welcome to the bonus series for the I Know What You Mean podcast. So, for the bonus series here, I want to do things a little bit different. For here, we're going to be a little bit less filtered. I'm going to take you guys behind the scenes in some of the podcast episodes a little bit, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit more of my voiceover journey, my new voiceover journey that I'm kind of jumping into. So, for today's video, I wanted to respond to Jubilee videos. If you don't know what Jubilee is, Google Jubilee Media and you'll get all the information you need. You can look at the two videos that I was in, but this is not about that today. I want to react to some people that I've seen all the time. I have conversations with people all the time who have issues with gay people, trans people, anybody in the ubiquitous community. And frankly, y'all's opinions are tired, they're old, and they're not wanted. So I'm just going to express how I feel on the internet, saying how they feel about my community. I'm going to express freely how I feel about yours, and I don't care how you feel about it. So today's reaction video that were on this particular 3 to 4 people that were on this video featuring Xander Morris. I think the title is One LGBTQIA Activist versus 20 or so conservatives. That's not the word I wanted to use, but for the sake of being PC, I won't say what I wanted to say. But these people who have issues with the ubiquitous community for some reason. Why is it their business? I don't know. Why are any people obsessed with us? I don't know. It's like you just don't want us to live. Or you do the things that these people say in these videos is quite, and it's sad. It's mostly sad because a lot of y'all think like that. Some people listening to this right now hate the gays and hate trans. Why you're here, I don't know. It's not my issue to bear. That's your issue. You don't treat us like humans. That's your issue. It's not mine. Because we're not going anywhere. And as long as I have breath in my body, I have a platform and a voice to which to speak about. Aside from our name and me interviewing him, we literally have nothing in common. But this guy pretty much goes in, tries to explain how he feels about kids transitioning and detransitioning. Now, again, I've talked to this man for it's archived somewhere, so I got to get it. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I did ask him when we were having a conversation, and I won't dox what he does for a living. You can look at his videos and you can see for yourselves because he says what he does. I just don't want to say it. But it concerns me, his career choice, because I was like, do you think that school pow-pows is more, do you think is a bigger threat to children than kids transitioning? And he literally said no. In his mind, he believes that kids transitioning is more of a detriment to kids or to society. So we'll let you hear this gentleman's perspective on my community.
So quick question. Do you think people are born gay or trans?
Yes.
So you think kids are born trans?
I think they're born trans, yes.
Okay, so you would be okay with them getting any type of either brain scans or anything before they go through medical transition then, right?
What do you mean?
That way, because 13%, which you stated was 1%, but it's actually 13% of people do detransition. So to
That's not
avoid
true.
that, no, they can bring it up. I'll even show the study on my phone to you right now if you
Well,
want.
I'm sure you have things that say that, but it doesn't make it true.
So you're just invalidating the
Trump
entire
says stuff
study.
that's not true
You're
every day.
invalidating the entire study. Let me ask you this. Are you okay with this medical transition if they get brain scans before the medical transition?
What are you talking about?
Okay, so how do you know someone's born trans? Give me the definition. How do you know they're born trans?
So
I'm going to pause it there because I'm going to question a lot of you straight people out there. How do you know that you're born straight? Did someone diagnose you with it? Or is it just feelings that you have? Or it's just in you? Or are you pretending that you're straight? Which one is it? I'm a little bit curious because these people, and again, a lot of you people listening to this, have this ridiculous and crazy notion in your head that people are choosing to be trans and choosing to be gay, as if we would ever choose a life where you guys ridicule us, treat us less than human, and attack us and do really harmful things to us. Why would anyone choose to be that?
know more about that individual than I do. Someone is not just saying, oh, this kid says they're trans, let's go, let's give them hormones. What actually happens is a young person feels a deep amount of distress in who they are based on something they had no control over. They share that with their parents. In the majority of cases, the parent who wants to keep their child alive brings them to a psychologist or a psychiatrist. They work with that medical professional for many years. They bring in endocrine specialists and they work together for years to decide what is the right path of treatment, when, how, and with who.
So
and
they
then
have no
over
control
time,
over it, right?
over being trans?
Yeah.
The reason I disagree with that, I mean, for many reasons, but the main reason I disagree with what he just said is because there's no test for, you're not testing straight kids to confirm that they're straight. So why the fuck are you bothering trans kids, particularly if that trans child is not yours? Why are you even telling somebody else what they should do with their trans child? That's the problem with y'all. Y'all don't mind your own fucking business, and you're so worried about it.
Trans?
Yeah, you have no control over it.
Correct.
So the detransition rate shouldn't be 13%, right?
So the
Also,
majority
what's
of
the
people who
difference between puberty
detransition,
anxiety?
why do the
What's the
majority of
difference
people
between puberty
detransition?
anxiety and someone suffering from gender dysphoria? What's the distinct difference?
So puberty anxiety is, oh my gosh, I'm very worried that my characteristics are going to change who I am as a person. Other people are, oh my God, I'm worrying that puberty is going to permanently lock me into a body that is not mine. And I will never be able to prevent the changes that I go through with puberty. And so a partially reversible option is puberty blockers that is actually proven to save lives. That's what matters to me, is lives saved of young people.
So if you care about lives saved, then why do you dismiss the Oxford study of 108,000 patients when their depression, anxiety, substance use, and suicidality
We'll talk about the Oxford
increase?
study, talk about
Why
the
do you-
methodology,
why do you
talk about the people who ran the study, talk about the peer-reviewed
Oh,
Sir,
process.
just the same way you, sir, have no control over being straight, unless you do, and you're just not telling us something. I try not to get upset with these type of situations because, A, I can't control any of these people, and I can't do anything to stop y'all ridiculous thoughts about gay people. So I'm just trying to be like not, so aggressive and not so mean. But I do want to bring this to the forefront because I think it's fun to expose you guys.
Rate shouldn't be 13%, right?
So agree
It's actually not
that
true.
queer, it is true.
You just don't want to.
As long as you bring me something that's analyzed, researched, peer-reviewed, et cetera, et cetera. Don't just say, I read this somewhere and they said this, so that just means it's true, because that's not how research works, especially when it comes to medical things like this, that you claim.
Confirm your belief, though, right?
No, I'm saying it's a
Okay, give me one study. Give me one study that you think is good.
And then he's going to try to make a joke here that does not land at all.
Okay, I would say the study's done
I
by
don't
the
like that study.
270,000 doctors. Okay, which one?
See,
the American.
it's the same
But
thing.
you'd have to talk
It's the
about the
same thing because
methodology.
it doesn't affirm
No,
your
you're not.
belief
You don't know
system.
anything about your study, whereas I know everything about the American Medical Association study, the American Psychological Association study, the American Psychiatric Association study, the American Pediatric Association study, the World Health Organization study, and countless global doctors who have referred and peer-reviewed those studies. Your study, I would like you to talk about the methodology, how it was peer-reviewed, and how you're citing it. Because what I do know about your study is not only are you manipulating it, but it
The UK Health, the Finland, the Denmark, all their health departments
not
that
all
say puberty
studies
blockers
are equal.
aren't safe.
Not all studies
wrong,
are run
right?
well because some studies can be broken, some studies aren't accurate, and some studies aren't well done. And so I'm not saying I don't like your facts. I'm saying the conversation we're having about the studies you're referencing don't attribute to the greater conversation we're having about LGBTQ plus people because of the ideologies, methodologies, and practice of those studies. What I'm saying is the largest global medical organizations unanimously agree that queer and
Not unanimous.
transgender affirming care, it is unanimous. That's
It's
what makes
not
it
unanimous.
special.
It's not a medical
That's why
consensus.
it's so important.
It's
I didn't
not.
say medical consensus. I said the majority of health organizations that are the largest in the world and in the country all unanimously agree
It's actually not
that
true.
queer, it is true.
You just don't want to believe it because it doesn't affirm your reality. That's the problem.
You want to
though.
believe it because it does, but when it's peer-reviewed, when it's fact-checked, and when people actually look into your studies, they realize that they're false. You would be able to reference more. You'd be able to reference peer-reviewed sources. You'd be able to reference medically established institutions. You would be able to reference things that are
before you go on
respected in
your
the greater
soliloquy,
medical community.
Here's a perfect middle
It's not a
ground for you.
soliloquy.
Here's
It's
your perfect,
exhaustion
here's
because
a
you're not
perfect middle
referencing
ground since you don't want to
information.
reach a middle ground. Here's a middle
I
ground.
would like to do so with
If people are
information.
born trans
Where
and
do-
we could see in their brain scans, then you'd be okay with a brain scan before they medically transition. That's
That
a really good
information
middle
is
ground.
new.
That's
The
a really good middle
information-
ground.
The information there is new.
So you don't want to reach the middle ground of it.
No, what I'm saying is I trust the medical professionals who found that information to continue to study it and decide what is the best practice to apply it to life-saving healthcare. If I see medical practices that put young people in harm's way, I would advocate
So
against
it's
them.
life-saving to stop the natural biology of someone, inject them with synthetic hormones, and then do gender reassignment surgery. That's
It seems
life-saving
scary
to
when you say it like
Isn't that
that,
correct?
but yes,
no, I'm just saying,
sometimes
I'm just
it's
saying what
life-saving
it
to
is.
take take a scalpel, cut someone open, go
I'm just
into their
saying what it
heart,
is.
remove a part of their heart, zip them back up. That's also
Let me ask you
life-saving
this.
care.
How do they know they're in the wrong body if they haven't even hit puberty where the body is fully developed yet?
It is not about the physical characteristic of me feeling my fingernails.
It depends on the individual.
Now, I thought Xander did a really great job. There's this thing that particularly happens with people who are conservative on the right. I think it happens on both sides, but I see it happen a lot on the right side of people who are Trump supporters, and especially people who do these Jubilee videos. They do this thing called sandbagging, where they ask you question on top of question on top of question, and you don't get a chance to. If you're a good listener, you try to answer every question, but they just keep sandbagging you to either throw you off or say, well, say, what do you mean? You're contradicting yourself. And I'm not even able to answer one question because you're throwing 17 at me. And they think that's a successful debate tactic, just to be yelling random things at people, or just saying what they feel and discrediting somebody else, or saying that what they feel is correct, even though it's not researched at all. That's typically how these people tend to be, or anybody who is anti-LGBTQIA, you don't know anything about us. That's usually what your approach is. Okay, so this next clip I'm going to show you, this guy, I don't know what his name is, and I don't care to know anything about him. He's literally a psychopath. He was in a, I guess he is Bruce Banner, the fucking Incredible Hulk. He's like, I need to calm down. I have this condition where people and everyone around me knows that I can't get upset. I can't get angry. And I was like, I'm sitting here watching this like, sir, you were on a debate show with people you vehemently disagree with. And you think with this temper that you have of not controlling yourself, this is the best environment for you to be in? What's going on here? You'll hear how crazy he is when he talks, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of backstory on this guy.
Hi.
Hi.
I just want to make sure
Can we agree that our shared value for
Safe
this
and
debate
healthy
should be that
childhoods.
all young Americans have safe and healthy childhoods?
Absolutely.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I heard that right. Young
Yeah.
Americans referencing children.
Yes.
So then I want to switch the focus on what the plus represents, an LGBTQ plus.
First, I want to state that gun violence has been the leading cause of death for American children for the last 4 years, and 6 American children die every single day from gun violence, and 4 million young Americans are currently uninsured, which makes them 60% more likely to die, while LGBTQ plus acceptance risks no American children's lives.
I'm not in disagreement with that
Amazing.
per se, necessarily.
I love that.
But where we're headed, right? That plus is a placeholder for maps.
That would be insane.
Absolutely
That's
it is.
pedophilia.
I'm glad that you think it's pedophilia and it's insane.
Well, it's defined as
but I
pedophilia.
think you understand and you know that your side of the aisle does not feel that way.
No, it
That there
doesn't
is
at
a
all.
large
Who
movement
commits the most
currently-
acts of pedophilia in the United States of America? I'll give you a hint.
Do you identify the LGBTQ as a
So,
political
I
movement?
love when
No,
this
not at
comes
all.
up, because a lot of you people out there, and I get it, this topic is very sensitive, and you guys get very in your feelings about it, but unfortunately it's happening every day. So this narrative that this narrative that anybody in the ubiquitous community is interested in your kids or doing any harm to your kids is false. What Xander was trying to say, which I completely agree, and facts and stats show this, not our imagination, is that each gender or a straight male harmful to your child than any person that I have ever met or any trans person that I have ever met. And that's not me making things up. That's just the truth. You guys are doing it right now. You're going to do it later tonight. And instead of stopping mad at me for talking about it, going to say I'm disgusting or I'm vile for talking about the things that you do to your kids or the things that you let your pastors do to your children. And so if you feel that I'm wrong for talking about it or speaking about it, so we can stop doing this, then I think you should look in the mirror and question yourself instead of questioning why I'm talking about it. Because you guys should be as concerned as I am, someone who does not have kids and don't want to have kids. You should be as concerned as I am, but it doesn't seem that you guys are from what I see. So here we are.
Do you identify
Hint.
Do you identify the LGBTQ as a political movement?
No, not at all.
Essentially, you're leaning to deconstructionism. You want a gray box society. That's
want a
the
gray
goal.
What is a gray box society?
The fact that you don't know that is exactly the problem. You are
No, I mean, what do you think
compartmentalized
a gray
in
box
this idea.
society is?
I know what it is. It's a genderless society. It's where the individual is stripped from all individuality. That's what it is.
I think
That is where
allowing
we're
people to
headed. The
express
fact that you
themselves
can't
as
acknowledge
individuals
that
is more
shows me that
individuality.
you're already in the matrix. You're stuck there. You're in this world that provides all these protections for
Yeah.
you. All these, the fact that you can even sit here, the fact that this
What extra
platform
protections do
exists.
LGBTQ plus people receive in the
Do you
United
want
States of
anecdotal
America?
experiences?
I want
or do
any
you-
evidence that you
the
have.
fact that it even
You don't
the
have
fact
evidence.
that it's even a
You
discussion.
don't have evidence. It's not a discussion.
It's a sexual
You
orientation.
saying something doesn't mean
it is
that it's a
a
discussion.
sexual orientation. It should be between
What is
two
a sexual
people.
orientation? What should be?
When
Dude,
it
what are you
arrives,
talking about?
What am I talking about? I'm talking about the fact that it's even a movement to begin with. It doesn't deserve
There's a civil
to
rights
be a
movement
movement.
that
It
is
doesn't
described
deserve
as
to
the
be a civil
LGBTQ.
rights. It doesn't deserve a civil right.
Just to be very clear, with some of you people out there listening to this, and your friends and your loved ones and whoever you associate with, this man just said on Beyonce's internet that we don't deserve civil rights. Now, the last time I checked, because I'm gay, obviously, so I have a very personal experience to this. I don't want any more treatment, any special treatment than any of y'all. I just don't want to be imprisoned. I don't want to be assaulted. I don't want to be jailed. I don't want to be any of these things because you don't like me, right? And this man feels like I shouldn't have rights. The person you're listening to or watching this, if you choose to watch, he thinks I shouldn't have rights. Now, I know y'all, some of you people are dumb, so you're going to say, he didn't mean that, but I'm not stupid and I'm not dumb, and I know what that means. And even if let's play devil's advocate, right? You don't say stuff like that. You don't ever tell any other human being they don't deserve civil rights, no matter how. That's why are we here? I mean, I feel like it's like saying we're not human. That's how I speak. And I know I'm not going to have kids, but I was a child once. And I've helped raise a lot of kids in my life. And I can tell that a lot of you are bad at it. You think just because you have a dick and a pussy that you are going to be a good parent, and that's just not true.
Nice to meet you. Okay, so
now this next clip we're going to see, this guy, I have his screen, but again, I'm trying to be peaceful. I'm trying to be calm. Even if y'all are crazy, even if because I don't want to accuse my community of being anything like these people, but those out there who are like this, make myself down to not get on their level because they're quite frankly just ignorant fools. And this is the main one.
I would like to touch on the religious fundamentalist
I
aspect.
hate the way
Are
he
you an
dresses.
atheist?
I hate his
I'm a
face. I hate
Reformed
his
Jew.
voice. I hate everything about this man. He's
I don't
so
have
annoying.
a strong belief in the existence of God. I don't have a strong belief in the existence of God, but I don't think that religion in and of itself is bad.
Okay, so what's wrong with the religious fundamentalists? So like when you said trans rights and women's rights or something like that?
Well, the problem I have with religious fundamentalists, and really more, I guess it's really theocrats,
Okay.
is that they want to impose their morality that comes from their religion on the rest of us. And I don't.
But morality, from your view, is going to be a preference, right? It's not morality. Always going to reduce you to a preference. So if you say that killing is wrong and I say it's right, you would really have no contention with that.
Well, no, I don't base my understanding of civil society on religion. And so we have a civil society.
Okay.
We have laws that we have decided as a society in a
Yes.
democratic way. And
You people, but I guess it's like a buffet. You pick and choose what you want to adhere to. I think it's a fool. I think anybody let me stop.
For one to live their life off.
I believe you can have an ethical framework without
And
religion.
if we take the leftist view to its logical tail end, to its extreme view, you have low reproductive birth rates. You have a reproductive dead end, so two men together can't reproduce unless they have to take from a healthy straight couple. Religion provides this foundation where you do prioritize the nuclear family.
So do you have a problem with gay people being married?
It's not that I have a problem. I just don't see a justification for why they ought to be gay outside of it just feels good. Can you give me another justification for it?
Well, I think maybe that's the way they were born.
Okay, what about pedophiles? Are they born that way?
They may be, yeah.
Okay, so should we let a pedophile...
Following his logic here and trying to make it make sense, right? I'm trying to follow his logic and try to make this make sense, right? So according to this man, the only reason that myself and everyone who has been gay in the recorded history of the world, you may, you think it feels good. That's why we're doing it. So what does that say about you? You're saying it as if like the choice, as if you can make a choice. I don't know. It's weird, his wording there. And I think everyone's silence speaks volumes. I don't know if I can articulate without calling him a sissy or a punk, but if I
Well, I think maybe that's the way they were born.
Well, off the hook since they were born that way?
No, I think we as a society has decided.
Should implement duties to prevent them from acting on that innate urge, correct?
Well, I think between consenting adults, it's a different thing than.
Okay,
than
so you're okay
preying
with
on
a
children.
45-year-old dad with a 19-year-old daughter as well?
Consenting
innate urge is your Miss Eleazar, is your innate urge to
adults, it's a different thing than.
Okay, so you're okay with a 45-year-old incest?
No.
If they consent, you're okay with that?
No, I think society has also determined that it's like it's not beneficial.
Right, there's
for-
duties and obligations that we have, so religion provides those duties. Life isn't about
Well, but
freedom
also
and
I can-
exercising what you want.
I mean, well, you want to impose your religious doctrine
No,
on
because
me, and
you
I
just
don't want
admitted
that.
I'm a political person, but in the words of the great podcast, Native Land Pod, politics touches you even if you don't touch it. So I just want to pause it because you're a bad person. You shouldn't do that. Now, if you have a relationship with your God, that's great. We love that for you. Continue to have that relationship, but there's no need for you to spread the word or tell someone else what they should be doing, because nobody listening to this, especially, or listening to this particularly, is without sin or without any dirt in their eyes. No notion that the only way to go or this, it's simply not true, because A, you don't follow all those things yourself, and B, you can still be a good person, you can still have morals without having any religious affiliation whatsoever.
Argument.
Just doctrine
No,
on me,
because
and I don't want that.
you just admitted we need duties. We have responsibility as a society to keep us functioning, to keep us thriving. Your leftist view, the liberal view, doesn't provide anything besides it just makes me feel good. Religion does. So what's your argument?
What's my argument as to why I don't want
You have no
your
contention.
religion to? Well, because first of all, I don't think that you have the right to corner what God is telling us is right or wrong. And there are differences between religions. And so my argument is, like, you're not going to keep halal or kosher, right? I mean, I don't believe that someone has a corner on religious truth. And the reason why we have a democracy is because we didn't want a king. And the kings came from the
Yes.
idea that their God said that they're the ones who's supposed to be king. And so we can disagree on this. I don't want to live in a country that is ruled by religious fundamentalism.
And if I do, you have-
Under Trump, yes, you have won.
Yes.
You have a
Only
bunch
male
of
and
Christian.
female. You're right.
You have a
We
Christian
won.
nationalist,
Yes,
and
which is necessary.
And so I concede the point that under Trump, your Christian nationalism,
Households, sorry about better
trans
education.
people, gay people should be outlawed.
They should be straight.
If someone ever told me to my face that you should be straight, you should just be straight and invalidate my entire existence, that could pose a huge problem for me, which is why excuse me. That's why when I went on the debate show, when I was in the first Jubilee video with Ben Shapiro, I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not yelling and arguing and debating with somebody about my existence. Now, if you want to fight and you want to like have a spar with words, we can do that. But I'm not debating you about my existence, because what's going to end up happening is I'm going to hurt your feelings with my words, or I'm going to hurt you in some way, because that's just what it is. I'm not going to let you just say I should be straight. That's not what this is. And furthermore, again, going back to what I said previously, this man has this notion that you can just choose your sexuality. So did you choose yours? Because it sounds like you chose to be straight. It sounds like you were fighting something and you're like, oh, I'm just going to choose to be straight, the easiest way to go. That's the safest way to go about this. I'm sorry, if that is the case for you, if you are struggling with anything, and I don't want to accuse you, but if you are, then I'm sorry, you don't have the strength to say fuck you to everybody else and be yourself. I'm sorry, I genuinely feel bad for you. I genuinely feel bad for anybody out there who is struggling with any part of themselves where they feel they can't be themselves because of somebody else. Because what I'm not doing ever is catering to any that's walking this earth. I'm going to exist and be myself. If you love it, great, good on you. If you don't love it, the best thing for you to do is just stay out of the way and just let me live, because you can't put me back in the closet. You can't make me not gay. You can't make me respect any of my libicular community. You can't make me hate trans people. You can't make me think your ideas about trans people is correct, because I'm never going to think that. So keep on being Eleazars of the world and thinking that you could just have choices to be straight or gay or whatever. It's just a choice. And then you'll sound just as dumb as he does. So with all that said, thank you for joining me thank you for joining me for the bonus series of the I Know What You Mean podcast. There's a lot of this to look forward to in the bonus series. And again, like I said, I'm going to take you on the journey of my voiceover career. I'm going to do some behind the scenes on the podcast episodes and just some other content that I might find funny and stuff that you might like. So thank you guys for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But please like, share. Help me expand, help me grow, help me get the message out there that people should be treated like humans. Thank you guys, and I'll catch you next time.